Hey friends, welcome to another episode of the Confidence to Homeschool podcast. Today we are going to dive into 5 ways to socialize your child while homeschooling. I love this conversation, and it's one that I think is so necessary, as that is one of people's most asked questions whenever they're thinking about either not putting their kids in public school or pulling them from public school but then how do you socialize them? So I am so happy you asked. Today we're going to dive into it. Enjoy! Welcome to the Confidence to Homeschool podcast with me, Kelsey Shalane. I'm a lover of all things Jesus, an exceptional wife to an exceptional husband, and a homeschooling mama of 4. Together, let's trade in those insecurities and questions of if you can homeschool for the confidence that homeschooling was the right decision for you. Through simple homeschooling techniques, growth in God, and small mindset shifts, we have the power to change generations and set our kids' hearts tuned to the Lord and a love of learning. So grab your lukewarm coffee, because who gets to drink it hot anyways, and let's shave off years of that how to homeschool learning curve. All right, so socialization. First things first, I want to start this with a couple of things. One, I do know that people think about homeschooled kids and they can be like these weird kids. I have so many thoughts on that. My first thought is, 1, are there not weird kids in public school? 2 is, are they really weird, or were they just never taught that they have to be somebody that they are not in order to be able to fit in? Are they just allowed to be who they are and who God created them to be, and they are just confident and comfortable being that person? And 3, I think that socialization is such an interesting thing because, again, we've talked in multiple other episodes that they follow our lead. And if you're not super social, then why are they going to see it as important to be super social? Or if you don't want to be around people, why do they want to be around people? So you've got so many questions that could come up with socialization. There's so many ways that we could take this conversation. So I think first things first, you need to figure out what in the world you're wanting for your child for socialization and what that looks like and what that means to you. So if you don't know the answer to that question, then we need to dig a little deeper on that. Does that mean I just want my child to be able to have a conversation with anybody that walks into a room? I have my daughter who used to not communicate with anybody, and now she has watched me progress through the years to where I used to be shy, quiet, and not really confident to start a conversation. And God has really grown me into this person where I love people now, and I love to communicate, and I love to be able to just relate to people. And so Addison has really followed the exact same suit. My boys are still quiet. They will talk to people, but they're going to talk more about things like Pokemon and dinosaurs and all of those things, which they're 6 and 5. So I think that that's pretty normal still at this point. And I think that they'll grow up and grow into their own on being able to communicate. Boys just communicate differently than girls do. Let's just be real honest in that. They just are a completely different ball game than girls are. But if we are talking about homeschooling, if we're talking about socializing in the context of you want them to be able to get along with people around their same age, around somewhat their same walk of life, then I have a couple of suggestions for you. Homeschooling does not mean that you have to do all of your school at home. It does not mean that you have to cut yourself off from the world. And we live in a day and age where there are so many options for homeschoolers. Homeschooling is growing by incredible numbers on a regular basis. So now we've got all kinds of options that we didn't have before. So our first option is a co-op. If you have not heard of a co-op before, a lot of places have co-ops. We are from a fairly small town and we still have co-ops here. It's a matter of plugging into some Facebook groups and asking some people that are homeschooling, and I guarantee you can find a co-op in your area. Those co-ops are either they have some that are parent-led co-ops where you as the parent choose, okay, I want to be a part of this co-op, and sometimes they will have you do a job within the co-op. So like you're either a teacher or you're a teacher's assistant or you're helping run the administrative side. And then you pay like a small fee. On those are a smaller fee, normally like, I don't know, $65, $100, something along those lines. They're a smaller fee. But anyways, they have parent-led co-ops. I know that we recently got a new co-op in our area that is actually like a teacher-led co-op. It is more expensive. They have options for, I believe, up to 3 to 4 days per week. I want to say 3 days per week. I looked into it. But that one was very much more expensive. It was somewhere along like $750 a month. But there are 3 to 4 classes. They have a teacher that they have hired to come in and do these classes. Sometimes it's a professional in the field. They were doing like a medical class kind of thing, and they were bringing in a professional EMT to teach it kind of thing. So those kind of co-ops are a little more pricey, but you get more out of them as far as they do more of the work. So it's really kind of whatever you want. Normally a parent-led co-op is 1, maybe 2 days per week, but you can look around in your community and you can truly find something that works for you. Again, let's go back to the question of what do you want? I personally did not have any desire to do 3 days a week away from my kids because that's one of the reasons we homeschool. I really love to be a part of their schooling process. I love to be able to, dip my hands in their work that they're getting done and communicate with them and connect with them and just be with them in their school. And that's a lot of fun for me. So our second option is I'm going to call it a homeschool extension. Because that's what we do. That's what they call it here. But really what it is like a group from one of the co-ops did a quote-unquote homeschool extension. So this is number 2 on the list of the 5 ways that you can get your children socialized. And they have different classes. So like we have a spelling class. They have a math facts class. Right now, Addison is doing a book club, and she is loving it. Literally, like she loves it. So it's 1 hour per week, and they get together. They've got 2 different sessions. They've got an earlier session and a later session. Her class is super tiny. I think there's like 6 of them in the class, and they just get together and they read 4 chapters from a book once a week, and she has little assignments for them, such as who is your favorite character and tell me why, or find a word that you didn't know what it meant and tell me what it means, or find a character that was having a feeling and tell me about that feeling that you've had in your life kind of deal. So just little fun activities, but they've got different subjects based on their people that are volunteering to do this. And it's super affordable. It was $55 for the first semester. We're going to do it again the second semester, another $55. And totally and completely worth it and affordable. And it gets my toes dipped in for the actual homeschool next year if we want to do that, or the actual co-op next year if we choose to do that. So it's just fun. It's a fun way to get your kid around other kids, and they still get learning in, but it's something different than what we would be doing here in school. A book club, so easy. You could literally post on a Facebook group and ask, do I have 5 moms that want to get our kids together and do a book club? And you just give the assignment. Read the first 4 chapters they've done Charlotte's Web. They are doing Frindle currently. The first one that they did was Mr. Popper's Penguins. So simple. You have like 5 made-up jobs that you come up with. And you can even use the ones that I told you. I would be happy for that. So it's so easy. It's so easy to just get a group together and say, okay, Tuesdays, 1 o'clock, we're doing this, And so that's another option, is like a homeschool extension. And look in your Facebook groups. I'm certain there is something around you. Just be paying attention. Okay. Number 3, there is a resource called OutSchool. You can use this for socialization, or you can use it just for classes, or you can use it for both. So OutSchool is essentially a place where you can go online that they can do online classes, but in a group setting. I believe there are some that will do just like one-on-one tutoring sessions as well, if you were wanting that. But today we're talking about socialization, and this is a way that you can do it. If you are more thinking along the lines of like virtual is totally fine for you. I don't love the virtual option for socializing. I really prefer in-person conversations and communicating in that way, but it's still an option nevertheless. We will probably do American Sign Language here too terribly long for Addison, because she's really interested in it. And I think OutSchool is going to be a good option for us for that particular class. And it'll give her another opportunity to meet kids that are interested in the same thing. The only thing I will say about OutSchool is sometimes you do get some teachers with different outlooks in life than what you have. You may get more of like the, for lack of better terms, like woke teachers that believe things differently than what you may believe in them. And you just have to kind of weed through it. You're not committed to anything. There's no contract signed. And you can pull them out if that's what you choose. Some of the classes are like a $12 weekly fee, and they all just kind of vary depending on what the class is. But they've got really cool things like writing clubs. They've got fun things. All right, the next thing I have on socializing is point 4, getting out in public. Here's what I have to say on this. So one of my very favorite things about homeschooling is the fact, and as much as I love people and I'm totally and completely a people person, I don't actually like to be in large crowds. I make jokes all the time that we don't leave the house on weekends. And that's very true. I try not to leave the house on the weekends, because who wants to go to a trampoline park that is filled with kids whenever you can go to a trampoline park Monday through Friday and all the kids are at school? It's just absolutely wonderful. Not to mention the other kids that are there are probably homeschooled kids themselves. So you really do get to connect with different families that are kind of in the same scenario that you're in. So even if you're not just going to do something fun, if you're taking them out in public and you've got to go to the grocery store, or you are running to Starbucks, or whatever it is that you are doing, you can build in socialization through that. I have my daughter order her own Starbucks anytime we go through. Anytime we go to a restaurant, she orders on her own. I'm working on the boys and starting to get them to order on their own as well. And just natural conversation with the waitress or the person that is helping you, and learning how to be kind and treat those people that are in, service positions, the people that are checking us out at the grocery store. If they say, "Hi, how are you?" it is okay for them to also say, "I'm great, how are you?" Or, "Today we did blah, blah, blah." And I mean, they may or may not care, but I have watched some old ladies at the grocery store, some older ladies, just their entire day be turned around, and they, were in a mundane job for a minute, and then they got to have a great conversation with the little kid. And that's so fun for them, and it's so good for the little kids as well to be able to realize that they make a difference in people's days. Like, those conversations can be so, so sweet and mean so much to other people. And I will tell you what, I cannot tell you how often people tell me, "Oh my goodness, your children are so polite. They're so fun to be around. They have such intelligent conversations. You can really tell that they are wise beyond their years." And that is because one of my big things in homeschooling is teaching them how to communicate well with other people. Obviously, that's important to me. I have a whole podcast, like, I love, love, love to communicate with you people. And I love to be able to chat with you and help you through your day and help you whenever things get hard, or celebrate the wins. Like, I love that. So I also want my children to be able to do the exact same thing. So socialization just when you're in public. If you are making it a point for them to be able to do those things, and you're letting them answer for themselves. Okay, and the fifth thing, the very last point today, is socializing in sports. It's a very cool thing. We choose jiu-jitsu. That is our sport. And to be honest, we are in the gym 5 days a week. And we love it, and it makes us happy, and we have great friends, great community. We know our people. We love our tribe hard, like all the things. And the one really cool thing about jiu-jitsu is it's year-round. So you're not constantly changing people that you're around. It allows you to really build an extended family outside of, just people that you would see for a season. I'm not saying that any other sport wouldn't work. So if you are totally into a sport that would be seasonal, get it. That's awesome. Do it. There's a ton of club ball sports now. There's traveling teams. There is all kinds of options for sports and activities outside of the public schools. Homeschoolers now have so many options. So find your sport that you absolutely love, or you know what? It gives you an opportunity to try multiple. I know I have some good friends that go through all the seasons. They do basketball, they do soccer, they do softball, and they go through all the different sports. Some of them they love more than others, but it's a great way to meet a ton of different people and for them to be on a ton of different teams. So you can do whatever it is that you choose. Yet again, in homeschooling, and this is truly, sports is one of those, you can do it in or out of school, So sports is one of those, you're going to do it whether you're in public school or whether you're in private school or you're in homeschool, whatever it is. But I just want you to remember that is an aspect of socializing as well. Back to jiu-jitsu, I absolutely love it because it's a one-on-one sport as well as a team sport. Like, it's really you on the mat that is doing the hard work, but you're doing it with a partner, and it teaches you how to become a good partner. And we're not supposed to hurt our friends. Like, we're just practicing, that kind of thing. There's so many good things that jiu-jitsu gives that I really fully and completely love it for our family. So I would tell you to find a good gym if that's something that you're considering. Not all gyms are alike, and try a couple of different ones out until you find one that feels like family. So that is it for the day, and that is all I have for you, and I hope that helped give you some ideas on what socializing in homeschool can possibly look like. Again, with anything with homeschooling, you have so many options, friend, and I just hope that you find the one that you love. And the great thing is you're not married to any of the choices, so then you can pivot if you decide that it's not the one for you, and it's a wonderful thing. So thanks so much, and I hope you have the very best day. Please share with your friends. Share this podcast episode if you're loving it. If you love the whole show, please go ahead and share the show. I'm loving getting this in as many homes as possible. It's been so fun to, just chat with you guys, and I really enjoy getting to do that. Have the best day. Hey friend, thanks again for joining me today on your journey to the confidence to homeschool. I hope this podcast blessed you with one more tool of success. If it did, please scroll down to the bottom of your screen and leave me a review. Share it with a friend. Just remember, confidence in anything takes practice, so let's grow.